So I was thinking to myself, what better time than now to do an update to the Universe podcast? So a lot of changes have happened in the last few weeks, not only in my life, but with the brand. So again, welcome to the Universe, even for my longtime members and supporters. We are continuing throughout 2025, focusing on the innerverse to change our outerverse, our universe, and bringing the work back within. There has been a little bit of a emphasis being placed on outer circumstances and outer people, where I just want to continue to remind our staunch supporters, our longtime supporters, and our new supporters that are coming into the platform, coming into the program, that it is all about the inner work. And when you're doing the inner work, it's going to feel amazing. And before you even know it, the outer world is responding to it. That's all it is. It's all it takes. Our techniques, our way of thinking, our way of living, our way of knowing, it all starts within, and that's all it really needs to be. It all starts and ends with the innerverse, with the inner work. But I do have an announcement. As many of you may know, I am now a married man. Margarita and I have tied the knot as of July 15th, 2025. For those of you that have been around, thank you for all the congratulations. For those of you who are new, thank you for your positive energy and congratulations. But Margarita is my fiance. She is my life partner. She is my soulmate. She is the woman in my life. One of the many important women in my life, including my daughter, my mother, and my sister. And she has joined our family. And many of you came to the Innerverse, came to Here Nor There YouTube channel as a result of that story. And let's be honest, the reason why Here Nor There exists as a platform is because of my relationship with her. It was the catalyst to it. So I wanted to dedicate this podcast to giving you a little bit more detail about my marriage, but also to give you a little bit of history between her and I. So those of you that are going down the pathway of love, the pathway of romance, that this will give you, we don't deal with hope. I'm not a hope dealer. I am a dealer in knowing. And sometimes when you hear other people's testimonies, we used to have this in church all the time when I was a kid. People give their testimonies and would give other people faith. But what's actually happened from a scientific standpoint is that you are giving people some type of material evidence, some type of tangible evidence that this can happen to them too. A little bit of history between her and I. So I wanted to dedicate this podcast to giving you a little bit more detail about my marriage, but also to give you a little bit of history between her and I. So those of you that are going down the pathway of love, the pathway of romance, that this will give you, we don't deal with hope. I'm not a hope dealer. I am a dealer in knowing. And sometimes when you hear other people's testimonies, we used to have this in church all the time when I was a kid. People give their testimonies and would give other people faith. But what's actually happened from a scientific standpoint is that you are giving people some type of material evidence, some type of tangible evidence that this can happen to them too, if it happened to you, because none of us are any different. All of us bleed when we're cut. All of us use the bathroom. Everybody takes a poop. As I taught my daughter when she was young, I still like to remind her, And these universal laws. I think I combine laws and rules. That's a new word. Universal laws. These universal laws are applicable to all of us. Applicable. I almost did it again. Applicable to all of us. And it's a wonderful thing. Sometimes we think rules are there to constrain us, but really they're there to give us order. Imagine if you were to gather all the greatest basketball players that ever lived: Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, Shaquille O'Neal, Dr. J, Oscar Robertson, Bill Russell, Larry Bird. Just imagine if we gathered all of these legends that are living or have passed, and they had all the talents that they had in their prime, all of the talents, all of the court awareness, the skill set, but yet you drop them on the court of basketball, but you remove their knowledge of the rule book. They didn't know the rules of basketball, even though they had all the tools, all the talents to play basketball. How chaotic would that be? How chaotic would it be? So the rules of this reality are not here to constrain you. They're here to help you. They're here to give you order. So when you know the rules, you can break the game. You can really take the game to the next level. You can evolve the game and be the MVP, be the Hall of Fame MVP of your own reality. So all these universal laws are applicable. And when you see even somebody as myself achieve major manifestations, it is just to come back and give you the receipts of this is how I did it and this is how it'll apply to you. Because we all share the same consciousness. Now, my story with my lady started in 2019. The crazy thing about it is that just during the night of our actual wedding dinner, the first of many, my mother, I happened to have ordered a drink. I typically don't drink, but we were already toasting, so why not, Why not one night have a drink? But bad idea. My tolerance for alcohol, at least the taste of it, has not evolved very well since I took a hiatus from drinking last year. And the drink was disgusting. And I said to her, she looked at my face. Margarita was sitting next to me, and my mom was sitting across from me, and my dad was sitting across from me, and they looked at my face. They were like, "Oh, it doesn't taste good." And I was like, "Yeah, it tastes like that medicine that my childhood doctor gave me when I was a kid." I remember she used to give me, she was a Hispanic woman, very short Hispanic woman. I think she was 4'10". And I said her name. My mother just blurted out all of a sudden, she was Colombian. I never knew that. And that's why I always like to talk about synchronicities, because I'm now married to a Colombian woman, and I never knew that one of the, probably the largest caretaker outside of my mother and my grandmother, was my doctor, my childhood doctor. I remember going to see her all the time. She would give me little shots in the leg and stuff like that. And I remember she was a Hispanic woman, but I didn't know her heritage, and found out that one of the women that nurtured me the most growing up, from birth, infancy, all the way up until 18 years old, was a Colombian woman. So for those of you that like your birds before land and your synchronicities, again, this is one of those things where after it's all done, then the dots get connected. I never knew that until I got married. So, but she passed away, rest in peace. And I found out, again, another synchronicity, she passed away the year I met Margarita. And that's where our story begins. I met Margarita in 2019. I was introduced to her through my best friend, Andrea, who I call Andy. I know some of you guys may have heard me mention my best friend, and I refer to her as Andy, and you guys might think it's a guy, but it's a girl. We met on the job. We both art directors, interactive designers, web designers for you laymen's. And we met each other on a contract job that I had back in 2014, and we were friends for almost 5-6 years. I was coming out of a relationship, a long-term relationship I was in, that would last about 5 years on and off. And after that, my self-concept took a sharp spike upwards because I walked out of a relationship that didn't serve me. And immediately I was introduced to Margarita. Didn't see it coming. When I met her, I wasn't ready for it. I thought my confidence was amazing. It was at the time, but my self-concept was not. So I was able to attract her very easily, but the type of love she was trying to show me, I wasn't ready for it. And over a 6-month period, I was self-destructed. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think it was real love. Even though everything she showed me was real, she was immediately, I remember when I first met her, she was already talking about having a family and, love and oh my God, you're my dream man and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my God, no, this girl's trying to play me. She think I'm stupid. But that is self-concept for you. When your reticular activating system is out of sync, when it's haywire, you will think that people will adore you. They will see you shining. They will see your self-concept. And it was in a great place at that time because I walked away. I said no to something that didn't serve me. And then I was immediately rewarded with a beautiful woman and who was very into me the way I wanted somebody to be into me. And as soon as I manifested, I was like, oop, nope, can't be real. And then I went on a pathway to lose it. So that's when I learned about the law of attraction, law of assumption, all this stuff or whatnot, tarot. I was a very non-spiritual, non-religious, pessimistic guy before that, And I went on a journey. I went on a journey to figure myself out. I went on a journey to figure her out, figure out this universe in order to win back the woman I love. But somewhere along that line, I changed my mind. And I was like, hey, I'm just going to manifest the type of life I want to live or whatnot. And it worked. When I detached from it, she came back maybe 5 months later. But again, self-concept hadn't changed. I did enough to attract it, but not to keep it. And that's why Here Nor There is here and not there, because I'm teaching and guiding and mentoring on how to keep the manifestation. Because I was a master at bringing it in, but not keeping it, not holding it, not cultivating it. So then, we went into this weird phase where, I was avoiding love. And then COVID happened. I ended up leaving my hometown, Atlanta, and going to be near my daughter in Texas. And for that time, I'll give the lady credit. She stayed in contact with me. She reached out every few weeks, a few months. And, just always let me know that she loved me and, things could work out. And I never thought they could. I was like, I'm never coming back to Atlanta, blah, 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 blah. But, through my own manifestations towards other areas, it ended up leading me back to her. And that's a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast. But we rekindled our relationship in 2022. And again, you were always given a choice. Self-concept hadn't hardened the fact yet. Still couldn't believe, that somebody would love me the way they love me the way that she does and did then. And that was the final breakup, to where I was like, oh no, this is really over. It was really bad. It was really the just kind of shattered beyond repair. And that's when I doubled down. That's when I realized that I had been given 90%, 80%, 70% to self-concept, to manifestation, to reality creation, choosing my reality, and then choosing to stay that person. And that is where the biggest lessons began. And it was just a class of one. It was just me scouring YouTube, me scouring the books, me scouring my life experiences. No therapy, no talking to other people about it, no tarot readings. Why did I have one? But even in that, it pointed me back to everything I needed to know. And I learned everything in that 9 month period. It's about 9 months. It took about 9 months until I heard from her again in a different frequency. It took about 9 months. And when I finally heard from her, she was ready to go. And yet again, I was faced with a choice. But before I was given that choice, I went through a very dark period of desperation, of obsession over all these things to win her back. And I remember some key things that I learned. And I always attribute those many, many dozens of things that I learned. I always told myself, this is going to help me stay in a relationship with her. And then it shifted to, this is going to help me stay in a relationship with anybody. And even though a lot of people don't want to step away from hyper focusing on one specific person, that is what the key was, because it wasn't my relationship with her. It was my relationship with all the women that I previously adored. It was always me and my patterns. And when I realized it was about me and not about my relationship with her, that is when I was able to get into a more positive state, start enjoying my life. And there she popped up. All the techniques I did were in a queue and they popped up. So this is your receipt that you don't need to be doing techniques all the time. You can just do it once, but the rest of your days and nights need to be focused on becoming that person. And the simplest way I can put this is becoming the person that you want to manifest. Sometimes we want to manifest love and commitment from somebody and we are afraid of a commitment. Well, let me rephrase that so it hits home. Sometimes you may be one of these people that are manifesting a commitment with somebody and you are afraid of commitment. You're manifesting that somebody else is loyal to you and you have been disloyal to other people and you're afraid that that will return to you. The simplest way I can put this is manifest the version of yourself, which is the person you're trying to manifest to somebody else. And it takes a lot of accountability and forgiveness of self, acceptance of self and forgiveness of self. Because if you deny who you are and what you did, if you do have some stains on your record, these things will elude you. So you have to ask the questions. You have to deal with whatever is lying dormant in your subconscious so you can release it and obtain whatever it is or whoever it is you want. So I remember at the top of that journey, that last journey, I said, I'm going to apply 100%. I'm not going to half-ass the law and do a bunch of techniques and then go out here and be the exact opposite every day. I'm going to be that person before anybody shows up. I'm going to be that person regardless if it's her or not. I am going to be that person for me because I did not lean into who I really was because of fear of rejection. Fear that I would get betrayed or my heart broken if I was too nice of a guy or too kind of a guy or too loving or too loyal. Because we see that a lot. We see these stories where people are the loyal ones and they get left and we're like, oh, that can't be me. So if I always keep my options open, that'll never be me. And then it ends up being you. So it's a paradox. Live with bravery, live with courage, live in your self-concept, and you'd be surprised that you'll never walk that path of betrayal. But I digress. Let's continue into the story. So that's what led us into the creation Here Nor There, and along with manifesting her back. But the job wasn't done, people. The job wasn't done, my people. You know, there were still some limitations and still some things I had to shed, even though the relationship was back on course. And I proposed her on Christmas Day of 2023. Almost a year to where we broke up. She said yes. And then we, through pushing back the wedding a couple of times, through changing what we wanted to do, through, we never went through no period where we didn't want to do it. We just didn't know how we were going to do it, you know, with me creating Here Nor There and choosing to walk into my purpose and walk away from my career and her doing the same. We had a lot of career changes, and that kind of made us postpone our original wedding plans. So she woke up one spring morning and was like, hey, we got to get married this year. Just something, you know, she has a very strong intuition, and she explained to me, and she said, hey, I think we need to get married this year. And it had nothing to do with the physical world. It was just how she felt, what she thought, what she dreamed, things of that nature. So I said, hey, let's do it. And here we are. That was back in, I think maybe like March or so. And then, you know, we started to kind of scale up and do these grandiose type of reception, things of that nature. And then we just finally decided to just continue to focus on our purpose and our business. And then we'll do the grandiose celebration later. But we wanted to go ahead and make it official because in a petty way, I just got tired of saying fiance. I think we both got tired of saying fiance. And, you know, it feels more real. Wife, husband, it feels real, you know, not disrespect to the boyfriend, girlfriend phase of things, but boyfriend, girlfriend feels a little transitory, and it feels a little limited. It feels temporary. It can end at a moment, you know. Even fiance, you can call it off, But when you, before your loved ones, swear to be with each other for life, to be with each other through the rough times, through the highs, to the high highs, that's different. It feels different. How does it feel? It feels relaxing. The best I can say is that it feels like you just had your most favorite meal. And I'm talking about good, big meal, 3 or 4 courses, or maybe 3 or 4 dishes, one main dish, 3 or 4 side dishes, a dessert. And you're full, but you're not bloated. You're full, you're satiated, and you just kind of throw your napkin down, kind of slightly push yourself away from the table. That's the way it feels. Except you're not hungry 6 hours later. It feels like that every day. It feels full. It feels satiated. It feels satisfied. It feels like, oh man, this feels good. And to me, that is far better on the scale of pleasure than excitement, because excitement is a feeling that is meant to only last temporarily and to burn out quickly. You can't be excited every day. And if you were, it wouldn't be excitement anymore. But it feels like relief. It feels like relaxation. It just feels like you're floating. But not this, kind of floating to where it feels like a dream or it feels like somebody could knock you out of it. It's an inner knowing that I created this. I created this through my own self-transformation, through my own self-concept work, through no SP work, 0 SP work. It was all figuring out my own patterns. I think I hear her coming through the door right now. She might come in here and say something. So through my own work, through my own patterns, and this not only healed my relationship with her, I like to say cured and healed. Not only cured my relationship with her and brought us back together, but our families, because both our families weren't fond of each other after the first breakup. You come in. I'm filming a podcast, so I'll be out in a second. Excuse me. So, forgiveness. That's what I was getting to. Spoiler alert. Forgiveness. It's all happened through forgiveness. If you want to hold on to how somebody did you, what they said, what they did, what they didn't do, you will rob yourself of a beautiful marriage, a beautiful reunion, or whatever it is that you aim for with the person you love. All of this work through forgiveness. Forgiving myself for mistakes I made, and then forgiving her for her reaction to my mistakes, and forgiving her to the mistakes she made that weren't necessarily a reaction of mine. And that's what marriage is. Marriage is waking up every day and choosing to love each other, but it's also going to sleep every night and choosing to forgive each other. Never forget that. Every morning you're choosing to love each other, and every night you're choosing to forgive each other, because you will get disappointed. You will, I'm here to tell you, baby, you will get disappointed. You will get pissed off. You will get irritated. You will get annoyed. You are not perfect, and the person you love isn't perfect. But with these tools that I teach, these resources that I provide, now you're armed with the armor to survive all of that with grace and poise. And those things turn into nothing burgers because you navigated through it successfully, and you're out here becoming a reactive force. You're a proactive force. So that's what it feels like to be a married man. And, I got me one of those aura rings. It's pretty cool. Even if you're not on the marriage block right now, I suggest you get one because it tracks your sleep, your heart rate, all that stuff, all that fly stuff. tells you if you need to get up and exercise, get up and stretch, all that stuff or whatever. So it's kind of like an Apple Watch without the constantly having an Apple Watch on, you know? But that's what it is. That's what it feels like. And SP content moving forward. So many of you have noticed a lot of the SP content has been removed. And why is that? Is it because Shaun got his wife, so now he tripping and he don't want nobody else? Now he gatekeeping? No, it's not that. It's just that I sensed, especially coming in from our new members, still an over, I'm going to say it, worshiping the SP. I started to see a lot of similarities with religion. Similarities with people trying to figure out how to please a wrathful God that they read about every Sunday. A God that this unconditionally loves them but can't wait to throw them in hell if they do the littlest thing wrong. And constantly trying to find their self-worth out of being called a sinner and all this stuff. And just, God, please accept me. Please love me. Please let me into heaven. And I saw that same behavior with SPs. The men doing it to the women doing it to the men, both ways. Equal opportunity worshiping going on here. But they, what about you? Baby boy, what about you? This ain't got nothing to do with them. As I said, I'm a married man now because I said this ain't got nothing to do with her. This is about me. This is about me and my self-concept. Me and the power of love and the concept of love. When I fixed that, the relationship came back without me lifting a finger. But when I was trying to lift a finger to do all this other stuff, these rituals, these techniques, these obsession, it got further and further and further, as it should. Because that procedure doesn't change anything. You'll get it and lose it again. But changing yourself, you get it, you keep it, and you'll thrive. And you'll create children and children's of children and doggies, little dogs running around and all. You have a family. You feel me? That's what it takes. It was just inner work. 100%, not 90% self-concept, 10% SP. No, that's lack of trust. 100% self-concept. It is you who's jumping from reality to reality. You fix you and life will reflect that. And that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like to be a married man. That's what it feels like to be a married individual coming from a horrible breakup, coming from a lot of horrible breakups, coming from a marriage that dissolved before with my lovely former wife, my first wife, and the mother of my daughter, you know? But again, it was me who was self-destructing these relationships. And this is what the power of the law of assumption, law of attraction, whatever you want to call it, law of creation. This is the power of your universe. So, kind of lost my train of thought. SP content. I sat back and I thought, you know, people coming in, they're idolizing, idol worship of their SP, of their person. And I didn't get there doing that. Nobody gets there doing that. Even if people get those temporary wins, and don't just listen to what people say on Reddit and comments. I got my manifestation. Their manifestation could have been a text message, you know, or the relationship could have dissolved in a couple months. Lifelong commitment, lifelong marriage. Everybody says they did it a certain way, and that's the way I did it, right? And that's the way I teach you. But the SP content, I wasn't listening to SP subliminals when she manifested. In fact, I had hung those up to retire. I haven't listened to them since. I went back to self-concept. That's what worked. Scripting, I went to self-concept. I went to affirming for my state as a husband, not affirming for her to become my wife. It's a difference. So I meant well. My intentions were always pure, but the way that people were receiving the SP material was not in alignment to my core beliefs, not in alignment to my brand messaging, to my brand, voice, and tone. And it was not in alignment to people getting what they want out of life to manifest it. That's not gonna do it. So in recent months, out of nowhere, my how to manifest your ex back like I did video. That was the title of it. It was one of my first videos. I think it was my first 10, 15 videos. This is before the STFU video. This is before the Kabalion video. This is before the negative thoughts video that's going viral right now. This is before the you should quit manifesting video. These videos all have over 50 to 100,000 views. That video that sat there for a year just decided to take off in December of 2024 and went from 10,000 views to 60,000 views in a month. Went from 60,000 to 100,000 in another month, and went from 100,000 to 200,000 in a handful of months. That video was doing stupid numbers. It was getting 20,000 views a month. One month, I think it was 40,000. Just quietly, I just saw it climb, and all of a sudden it was number one on my channel. Dozens of comments a day. I had to put the moderation thing on to block the comments so it wouldn't be flooding all the comments from the new videos. That video had 225,000 views, and I deleted it. I did not private it. Hear me clearly? I did not private the video. I did not unlist the video. I deleted it. I deleted that. 220,000 views, my highest view video. I deleted the That Man or No Man video, take him off the pedestal video. Had about 20,000 views. I deleted the How to Manifest Your SP in 5 Steps video. Had 60,000 views. That one snuck up out of nowhere. Last time I checked, it had 20. I went back to go and delete it. It had 60,000. And the thing about it, as soon as I deleted it, I shit you not, excuse my language, I shit you not. And my right hand, Christine Bonaventure, my head mentor, she'll vouch for this. Within 15 minutes of me deleting that video, I got 4 comments on YouTube, on other videos asking what happened to that video. People were watching those videos. To get comments that fast, people were watching those videos on repeat every day, ignoring all of the content that I have on my channel that actually will help you manifest your SP by helping you to manifest a better version of yourself. They were ignoring all those videos and only focusing on those videos and watching them ad nauseum, which also tanks the reach of my channel because they're not going to click on anything unless it's get your ex back stuff. So as a result, that was tanking some of my viewership with the more important videos, which would get you your ex back. Spoiler alert. But it's more focused on inside. So as I said, I did manifest my marriage, specifically targeting my marriage. I manifested my concept of what it is to be a husband, my concept of what it is to be a loyal man, my concept of what it is to be a man of integrity, and being loyal to myself, and by extension, my beautiful wife. So that's what happened there. That's why we shifted directions, because that's what the direction always was. It always was about self-concept, transformation, self-mastery, and a little bit of Neville Goddard on the side, a little bit of Florence Scovel Shinn on the side, a little bit of Bashar for dessert. That's what it's always been. But we can't let 2 or 3 videos overshadow the work. So we will still get people the love of their life, but it has to happen through inner work, not so much focus on outer work, not idol worship. And to commemorate that, at the beginning of my beautiful marriage, I wanted to make sure that we get off the right foot in this community. and well, stay on the right foot. We're already on the right foot. We're already on the right foot, but we got to stay on the right foot because it pains me to see so many wonderful, beautiful people, men and women, and some of them are struggling with their success story because they won't let that part go. But reach out to some of our members who have their success story, who married their SP, who found the new love of their life when they let go of the old, and they all tell you the same thing. So thank you for taking this journey for me, myself, and Mrs. Hines in there. We both thank you. We both appreciate you for being here with us in lockstep along this journey. It hasn't always been easy, but it has been extremely fulfilling. You are neither here nor there. Thank you for your time.